everyone. Welcome to the Breaking Moment podcast. My name is Regine Bowe, and I am a social worker who wants to give you hope, encourage you, and help you feel less alone in your healing journey. This podcast is dedicated to helping you heal, learn, and grow to become a better version of yourself. Through education and personal experience, I will discuss topics around mental health and spirituality. So, let's get started on today's episode. Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Breaking Moment podcast. I'm your host, Regine Bowe, and I'm excited to get started today. As we're just going through this year, it's already almost February, which I think is crazy how fast time is going through. And I'm not sure, whatever you're going through, but I know sometimes it's hard for us to grasp the concept of letting go, whether that's letting go of someone you love, letting go of a relationship, letting go of a job, letting go of a part of yourself, letting go of expectations, whatever it is, the concept of letting go is extremely hard. And it's something that is heavy on my heart today. As we go through our breaking moment, as we do the work and we make the changes and we're healing and we're learning and we're growing, that requires a lot of letting go. And it's an extremely hard thing to do. And that's what I wanted to talk about today, letting go and just how we can manage the emotions that come with letting go and just to gain a better understanding of letting go, because yes, it's hard, but it's necessary. I believe it is necessary in this world for us to let go of things, for us to let go of people, for us to let go of expectations, because in order for us to live our life to our fullest potential, it's going to require hard things. And it's just, all I can say is it takes a lot of strength to let go. And if that's something that you have done or you're considering, I commend you, because it is not easy. And I just want you to know sometimes people don't let go and we hold on to things for too long, and it takes away from the joys of life. It takes away from what we can become because it holds us back. So today I want to go over the definition of letting go. We're going to talk about why letting go is necessary, ways to help us deal with the uncomfortable emotions of letting go. And I want to talk about some reminders for us when we were going through the process of letting go, when we are remembering things that we had to let go and we're struggling. I want to leave us with some reminders. And then I want to end with a couple of verses to help us with this process. So I want you to think about your clothes in your closet, right? So if your clothes are so jam-packed and you buy new clothes, they're not going to fit, right? So 9 times out of 10, what we do, yes, we still might keep clothes that we shouldn't have. I can speak for myself. Sometimes I have clothes that I'm like, why do I even have this? I don't ever wear it. So I need to get rid of it. So when we want to buy new clothes, most of the time we get rid of the old clothes, right? We get rid of things in our closet or our dressers so that we make room for new. So I want us to think about that. I also want us to think about clothes that don't fit, right? When we were infants, we grew into toddler clothes, and we grew into clothes for when we were school aged. Then we grew into clothes that when we were teenagers. So our bodies are consistently changing, and we have to consistently change our clothes because they no longer fit. They no longer serve the purpose of covering our bodies at that age. So that means we have to get new ones to cover our new developing bodies. I also want you to think about when you go upstairs. I don't have stairs inside my house, but I have stairs to get up into the house. But for those of you that have stairs or not, I want you to imagine if you don't. But if you're going upstairs and you have bags of groceries, right? If you're going up the stairs with a bag of groceries, it's going to be harder to go up the stairs than when you don't have a bag of groceries. Why? Because that extra weight is holding you down, that weight of whatever you're carrying. Maybe you're carrying sodas, maybe you're carrying waters, maybe you're carrying meats, maybe you're carrying meats, sodas, and waters. Whatever you're carrying to get up the stairs, it's going to be harder for you to get up. It's going to take longer for you to get up than if you didn't have any groceries, because that weight is holding you down, right? And it's going to take longer for you to move forward to the top of the stairs instead of when you didn't have those groceries or that extra weight. So I say all that to say, when I think about letting go, I wanted us to think about real life examples that we do let go of things that may be easy or may not be easy. So, the clothes thing could be challenging if you have clothes that you really love. And I'm not knocking you, because sometimes there's things where I'm staring at it and I'm like, oh, but this top is so cute. But then I'm like, Regine, you haven't worn the top in who knows, like a couple months. Let's get rid of it so we can make room for these new clothes you got. Or, maybe clothes that don't fit, but it was so cute, but it no longer serves its purpose. And the same thing with the stairs. When we hold on to things for too long, if you continuously always had to carry groceries around everywhere, it would hold you down from getting to where you need to go. But once you get to the top, you let them go. And then you're able to hopefully go back up the stairs without groceries once you get them all, get them to where they need to go. So I say all that to say, I want us to think about those things that we probably do in everyday life and carry that into letting go. So, according to the Mental Health Center, letting go is defined as an emotional and mental process that involves releasing the lingering attachments and resentments that affect our psychological state. This definition talks about our emotional and mental processes, because I really think when I think about letting go of our past, or letting go of a person we used to be, or letting go of a person we loved, it affects us so much mentally and emotionally, because we are connected to them. We are connected to that thing. So I think of letting go as releasing. That word releasing, when I think of letting go, comes to mind. We are releasing the need to control. We're releasing the need to control the outcome. We're releasing things. We're releasing people maybe that no longer serve us. We are releasing a part of ourselves. We are releasing things that are connected to our past and that prevent us from moving forward. We can let go of people. We can let go of hobbies. We can let go of activities. We can let go of a version of ourselves. We can let go of expectations and thoughts. We can let go of the need to control or be certain. We can let go of the past. We can let go of worrying about the future, and we can let go of hurt. We can let go of that traumatic thing that happened to us that's preventing us from living in our present moment. We can let go of the relationship. We can let go of that version of ourselves that maybe didn't make the best decisions. It is extremely hard, but I believe it is necessary. We have to let go of things in life in order to get where we need to go. Because just like carrying up the groceries, you can't always hold on that weight. You have to let go of all that weight and the things that are holding you down from becoming the best version of yourself, from getting that job, from trying a new relationship, from getting the promotion, from getting into your purpose. Everyone's different in what they need to let go. I know for me, it's extremely, and I can capitalize extremely hard for me to let go of things that have served a purpose in my life, because obviously I was connected to them for a reason. And letting go of people are extremely hard for me. Letting go of friends, relationships, because I see it as, they mattered. I care, I give my all in my friendships and my relationships. And it's hard for me. I think it's hard for me to let go of expectations and the need to control, because not control as in I want it to be a certain way, but just to control just so I know what's going to happen next. We talked about uncertainty last episode, and it's a hard thing to just let things be unknown. It's hard to just get up and you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to work out, but you just get up and you just go. So the need to release, the need to control things, and to know what's going to happen in the future, when we won't know what's going to happen in the future because we're not God. And you might be struggling with other things, but I always try to be very transparent in here and honest. So those are some things I struggle with. Definitely sometimes with the past, because at one point the past served me in a way. Like even when I think about sports, I played softball my entire life. And while I knew it was time for me to be done, it was a hard process. Why? Because I was known as a softball player. I saw myself as a really good softball player. So now that part of you is gone. And it's not gone in a way that you can look back at memories and see all you've done, or look back and see that relationship and look back and see that past self that you tried. And I think that's where we have to get to a point where, we can still look back and see the good in it, but realize that where we're trying to go now, that part of us, that thing, that person isn't going to help us to get to the next step. And yes, it's hard to grasp that concept, but I think it's necessary. I'm going to say that a lot in this episode. It's necessary. No, we don't like it. No, yes, it hurts like heck. It hurts so bad, but it's necessary. So why is letting go hard? It's because we may have identified with it. We might have identified with that thing. We might have identified with that activity. We might have identified with that person. We might have identified with that hobby, that activity. Whatever it was a part of us. It was how we seen ourselves. And maybe how others have identified us as well. Like, for example, softball player, football player, girlfriend, friend, boyfriend, manager. You might have identified with those good memories and you don't want them to leave because now you're going to a new state, but everyone that you know is in your hometown. So it's hard because we have identified with it. We have identified with the thing, the person, the activity, whatever it is. We have become a part of it, and now we are stripping something from us, and it's taking away from who we are. So that is hard. Another reason why I think letting go is hard, we're afraid of the change. Remember there's an episode where I talked about the process of change. It's called the trans-theoretical model, and it talks about how change is a process because it involves moving toward uncertainty, towards the unknown, instead of what's familiar, right? So yes, you could have been at that job for 20 plus years and it might have served some purpose in your life, right? You've been there 20 plus years, but now you feel that there's more for you out there. And yes, it's going to be hard to let go of a job that maybe you had good benefits and good money and you knew everyone because it's familiar, and you're stepping into a change. You're stepping into what's unknown. You don't know what the next job's going to be like. You don't know if you're going to make as much. You don't know what's going to happen. And that can cause us to not want to let go because it is scary. It is unknown. Or maybe you're in a relationship for 3 years, 2 years, 1 year, 1.5 years, whatever it is. And now you realize that you have to let go of that person because they served a purpose in your life. But where you're going, you know that you have to let go, not only for you, but for them. And I think letting go is one of the hardest things we can do in life. So to even come to the realization of, I know that where I want to go, this thing, this person, this activity, whatever it is, won't help me get there. It won't serve a purpose where I'm going. And to get there is hard, but it's necessary. So I think we become afraid of change because it involves uncertainty and it involves the unknown. And if you're struggling with uncertainty and unknown, I did do our last episode about uncertainties and how to move through them. So yeah, and there's more reasons why it's hard for people to let go, but I think those are two big reasons, is that we identified with the thing, the person, whatever it is, and we're afraid of the change because it involves us moving into uncertainty, into the unknown, into something that's unpredictable. And these are valid feelings because I feel them every day. I don't know what today's going to bring. I don't know what this new job's going to bring. I started a new job and I shared this 3 months ago. And while I was super, super excited and, I'm glad I'm here. I think everything is going well. It's an amazing job. I'm very thankful. But before taking the job, I was so uncertain. This is my first job in my field and I don't know what's going to happen. Am I in the right spot? Is this the right job for me? How are the employees going to be? How are the clients going to be? I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm here and I'm moving through it. And that's the thing, is you won't know until you try. Because what's worse, I think, in life is staying stagnant because it's familiar, but not reaching your fullest potential of life. Trying to do better for yourself and trying to move forward and seeing where that leads you. And knowing that you tried, I think that speaks volumes. So why is letting go necessary? It's necessary because it allows us to grow. We grow. Think about us, if you think about it from a physical standpoint, we don't stay as infants. So of course, when you don't go from infants to infant to infant. No, you go from infant to senior. You become an infant, and then you go to a toddler, then you go to school age, then you go to teenager, then you go to young adult, then you go to middle adult, then you go to older adults. And there's a reason that we grow physically, but we also have to grow mentally. We have to grow emotionally. We have to mature also. And because we grow, it is necessary to let go of things. There's an episode I talked about the very hungry caterpillar. I can't remember what episode it is, but it's a very good episode if you want to check it out. But I talk about how the caterpillar started off as an egg into a butterfly, and how it involved him changing and involved him letting go. If the egg was so comfortable, say if the egg hatched and then he was so comfortable with his egg friends, and then he never grew and never left the nest, and if he never expanded the world, he would never go to the butterfly and explore the world, right? So the same with us is we have to let go so that we can grow, because maybe the people you're around are holding you down. And I know it's hard to accept that, but everyone grows at different paces. So the same friends that you've had in elementary might not be the same friends you have now, or at high school might not be the same friends you have now, because life hits people differently. And that's okay. It doesn't mean anyone's wrong. It doesn't mean anyone's a bad person. It's just part of life. Plants grow, insects grow, animals grow. So we have to grow. And growing involves letting go of things that no longer serve us and serve our purpose in the world, because those things can hold us down. Just like the groceries hold us down from getting to the top of the stairs. Each time we have more groceries, it's going to probably take a longer time to get to the stairs. And that's the weight of other people or other things that no longer serve us. That hurt that you're holding on to since you were a little kid isn't serving you now. Maybe that's what you need to stir you up to create the podcast that's going to help others. And I think something that helps me is realizing that whatever I went through, whatever hurt I went through, there's a purpose for it. Yes, I don't like it. Yes, it's still unfair. I still validate those feelings because it did hurt. It hurt me. It made me angry. It made me frustrated. But what can this hurt, or what can this thing teach me for myself, but maybe for someone else that needs it? The more I realize that all the things that I had to let go and all the hurts I've been through and all that has helped me to get to where I am, and has helped me to become a good therapist, and has helped me to launch a podcast. It keeps me going. So maybe you can sit and think about everything that you had to let go and realize that, find the positives in it, because we can always sit with negatives of like, oh, but I miss this and I miss them and I miss that. Yes, you are going to. I still do to this day. There's things that I still cry about because I'm angry that I had to let it go. But then when I see where I am today, I realize that I had to do that. Like, there's no other way I would be here if I didn't let softball go, if I didn't let certain friends go, if I didn't let relationship go, if I didn't let expectations of I got to do this at this time and this at that time go. There's no way I would be here today. I firmly believe it. So I want you to think about that. Letting go is necessary because it allows us to grow as people. It also improves our mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical health. Why? Because when we hold on to anger, when we hold on to resentment and guilt and bitterness, that contributes to mental illness. That contributes to that anxiety. That contributes to how we react to people, and maybe we're nasty to people because we're so mad that people left us or hurt us. That contributes to how we take care of ourselves. Maybe we're still going through that breakup and we're still not eating how we should eat, and we're still not taking care of our mental health. Like, maybe you really need therapy and you're just sitting here and not going to therapy, but that's what you need. But letting go it will help us because we will let go of that hurt. We will let go of that past so that we can be in the present moment now. Think about it. If we hold on to that person, if we hold on to that memory of something that happened when you were 6, so now you hate the world and you're treating people wrong, and that contributes to your anxiety and your depression, right? But let go of it. It serves you no purpose holding on to that hurt and that anger and that frustration and that person that isn't serving you anymore. It prevents you from going forward. So it helps us to, I think letting go helps us to improve the mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical health. It might not feel like it right away, but it will in the long run, because when you hold on to something and you try to overly like say something happened to you and now you try to control every little thing in your world, and then when something goes wrong and you freak out, and then it's a continuously spiral and your anxiety is increasing because of it. Let go of the need to know. Just trust yourself and trust God and keep moving forward. And yes, it's easier said than done. And this is from someone that struggles with it every day. I know it's easier said than done, but it's something that you start to appreciate the little things, like, wow, today I got up. Today I did mindfulness today and it felt a little better. And then you'll just start to see that it gets easier as time goes. I believe that letting go is necessary because it helps us get closer to our purpose. Maybe, have you thought about this? And I ask myself these things too. Maybe I'm going through this for a reason. There's no way I'm just going through this for fun. There's no way I'm going through this heartbreak for no reason. There's no way I lost all these friends for no reason. There's no way I went through that as a child for no reason. Maybe it's helping us to get closer to our purpose. Maybe God needs you to let go because he has something better for you. Maybe there's something on the other side of this. Have you thought about that? Like, I know right now it seems like it's too much, or it seems like you don't understand. And sometimes we won't understand, but maybe it's about letting go so that God can give us what we need, so that letting go allows us to make room for more. Think about your closet space. If it's jam packed with clothes and you buy a whole thing of new clothes, where are you going to put them at? Without them being on your floor and looking a mess, right? You have to let go to receive more. So I think those are some of the reasons why it is necessary. So now I want to talk about some ways how we can deal with those uncomfortable emotions of letting go. Engage in self-care. What's something that you can do for yourself? Like I talk about self-care a lot because on social media it's portrayed as different things, and it's different for everyone. And that's always my answer. It is different for everyone because where I like to journal every morning, someone else might not. Where I like to walk in the mornings or walk sometime during the day, somebody else might not. So whatever your self-care is, maybe it's taking a boxing class weekly so you can let your anger out in a healthy way. Maybe it's hanging with your friends, because maybe something you struggle with is isolating, and maybe you want to implement hanging with someone that benefits you and encourages you weekly, or you call someone once a week, or whatever it is. Find something that works for you. Self-care is important. Self-care. You have to take care of yourself. Even when you're letting go, even when things are hard, you have to take care of yourself. There's no one way to do self-care. It isn't just, always getting your nails done. And if that's something that you like, that's cool. But I think when I was starting to really dive deep into self-care, I saw it as I thought I had to get nails done. No, it doesn't have to be nails. The other day I got my first massage done, and it was so nice. And I was like, oh, I can do this. So maybe I'll do this every other month, or every other month, or once a month, or whatever it is. But whatever works for you. So could be the journaling, maybe it's meditating, maybe it's praying, maybe it's listening to podcasts, maybe it's walking, maybe it's going to the beach, maybe it's just sitting in silence for 10 minutes. I mean, I don't know about some of your households, but some people have loud households, mine included. So I like peace and quiet every once in a while so that I can think about my day and just relax. So whatever it is that you need for you, I encourage you to engage in self-care and do your best to implement it and stay with that routine. Another thing is be compassionate with yourself. I always use the situation of if your best friend or someone you're super close to, maybe your mom, maybe your friend, maybe your best friend, maybe your spouse, whatever it is, they were going through one of the toughest times of their lives. They're crying to you. They're saying they need your support. They want to talk and they don't know what to do. 9 times out of 10, I doubt you're going to say, get the F out of my face, or get out of my face. Leave me alone. I don't care. Deal with it. 9 times out of 10, you probably want to be there for them. You want to support them. You want to encourage them. You want to give them a hug. I want you to think of yourself that way. Sometimes you just need, that's why it's important to take care of yourself. And I did an episode on self-love and the importance of it, because everyone won't be there. When you're going through things, everyone's not always there because people have lives, right? So you have to learn how to take care of yourself. So the same energy you want to give to that friend, that spouse, whoever that's going through that rough time, give it to yourself too. What do you need right now? Maybe you just need to sit and cry. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes I literally allow myself to cry because it releases that it releases all the hurt and the emotions that are bottling up, so that I don't react and overreact to other people. Sometimes I allow myself to cry and let my anger and my frustration out in a healthy way, journaling and just things like that. So be compassionate with yourself. If you need to cry, allow yourself to cry without judging yourself. You know, tell yourself you're doing a good job. Maybe you really are doing your best. And that's the thing, your best is good enough. Your best isn't going to look like your mom's best and your brother's best and your dad's best and your spouse's best. Everyone's best is different. So all you can do is yours. Another thing, journaling. And it doesn't have to be you getting a notepad and writing. Maybe you want to write it in your notes. Just jotting things down that contribute to how you're feeling and what you're thinking and how you can move forward. It helps when you write it down, because I did an episode about our brains and how much we think a day, and it's amazing how our thoughts really are repetitive, and it's crazy how our thoughts are mainly negative. So negative and repetitive. So it's like, maybe put them down and see the patterns that you were showing each day. And then you can take each day like, you know what? I thought about that yesterday and I got through it, so I'm going to get through it today. You start to give yourself that hope, and it just helps you to navigate through your thoughts and what you're feeling and how you can move forward. Therapy. Letting go is not easy. And, I've talked about relationships and jobs, but maybe you're letting go of a life you used to live. Maybe you're letting go of someone because they died. Like, there's different ways we let go of things, and it isn't just, and it affects everyone differently. So I really recommend therapy, because, you have a professional who's in a scope of practice who knows how to help you get through what you're getting through. They maybe help you see things from a different perspective, encourage you, and help you get through this tough time. So therapy. Another thing, mindfulness, allowing yourself to be in this moment without judgment. I think that's big, because if we keep running from the uncomfortable emotion, so yes, you lost the job, or yes, you had to let go of the job, and you are so depressed about it, but you are trying to overwork and not deal with it. I'm going to tell you, like I always tell you, you can't run from the feelings. Why? Because they're your feelings. They will follow you. That anger you have is going to follow you if you don't deal with it. And mindfulness helps us to sit with it, but not attach ourselves to it. And that's the thing, I think, how you learn to get through it is you accept it. I feel angry about it. I feel depressed about it. But you just kind of like let it pass you. Like, you're acknowledging that it's there, but you're not going to allow it to attach itself to you, so that you are angry at everyone else and you start to lash out and things like that. So practicing mindfulness, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or just sitting there and just letting things be and just being in the present moment and realizing that it's going to pass, because it has passed, and you will get through it. Even if it feels like you won't, you will get through it. Mindfulness is such an important practice, I think. It's just very important in our lives. And I think of mindfulness sometimes when I have very uncomfortable emotions and feelings and it's hard to sit with them. I think of it as the clouds in the sky. And like I said, sometimes I will literally look at the clouds and remind myself that I don't have to attach to this feeling, but I know that I need to acknowledge it so that it can pass. So just like those clouds continuously move, so will my thoughts, so will this feeling. Or if I'm by water, because I love the beach, I will look at the water and I see that the waves are continuously moving. No matter what, it's continuously moving. No matter if there's beautiful ducks in it, no matter if it's algae or sticks in it, it's continuously moving. So that reminds me, when I look in the natural world, that helps me in my mental mind, that this thought is a lot right now. This feeling is unbearable, but I'm going to sit with it. I'm going to acknowledge that it's there. And I know that once my day goes, it's going to continuously flow. And it does. All right, so some reminders. I want us to remember that letting go is a process of life. It is a part of life. Insects have to deal with it. The hungry caterpillar had to deal with letting go. He didn't stay as an egg. He had to change. He had to go in uncertainty. And so do we. We have to let go of things that we knew. faces that we knew, expectations that we thought we would fulfill now. So we have to realize that it is a process of life. It doesn't mean that God is punishing you and I'm saying this because, hey, I've had these thoughts like, God, why? Why this? Why now? Why did this have to happen to me? But it's not God punishing you. It's generally a part of life that everyone has to go through. And sometimes when I just speak the reality of it, it makes it not be so personal. This relationship ending isn't personal. It just had to happen. It's a part of life. You letting go of that job, it's not personal. It had to happen. Maybe there's a bigger job out there for you. Maybe you're going to make more money. Maybe you're going to be around people that actually value you and recognize you. I want us to change our perspective and try to learn through it. What can you learn from that last job? Yes, you had to let it go and it sucks. But what did you learn from that last job that now you can implement in your new job? Or what did you learn from that last relationship that you can learn from that you did or didn't like that you can take into your new relationship when you get there? I think if we change our perspective and see life as a way to learn, then it won't be so hard and it won't be as heavy. We won't harp on the negatives because we will see that there's something we learned or gained out of letting go of that thing or that person or that perspective. I want us to think about a chapter of a book and remember that people come and go in different chapters of our lives. And we can think about the good memories and that a person or that thing or whatever served a purpose in our life for a reason. Maybe it was for a lesson. Maybe it was to get us through a hard time. Maybe it was to teach us what we didn't want. But now we can move forward in it. I think if we can see it as a way to learn and grow, then we won't hold on to all the negatives that are associated with it. And the last reminder I want us to realize, just like the stages of grief, I want us to think about the stages of letting go, which are the same. Denial, we deny that it happened. We don't want to let it go. Like, no, everything's okay. I'm going to figure it out, Anger, we're frustrated. We're pissed off that it happened. Bargaining, we negotiate with ourselves. We try to, what if I do this? Maybe I can hold on to it. If only I could have been a little bit stronger. If only I could have made a little bit more money, or if only I could have done this, then I wouldn't be in this situation. Depression, we lose hope. We kind of we don't have any joy. We sit there and we don't know what's next, and we don't find excitement in the days. We dread the day ahead. And then there's acceptance. We accept that it happened. We accept that is a part of life. We accept that we have to keep moving forward. And just because there are stages doesn't mean you go in a certain order. Maybe you're in denial and then you are depressed and then you bargain and then you're angry and then you accept. And I want us to realize that you can go through all the stages and go through them again. I'm saying that because I've gone through it. I feel like I went through all the stages and then I continuously go back of, dang, I'm depressed about it. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to bargain. I'm trying to get that thing back, that person back, whatever it is in my mind. And so I want us to realize that there are stages. There's stages of letting go for a reason. There's stages of grief for a reason because we are human beings. And while we are trying to move forward, there are flesh-like, human-like things that we struggle with. And it's okay if you're going through it. It's okay if you're in the denial stage. It's okay if you're in the angry stage. It's okay if you're bargaining right now. It's okay if you're depressed. It's okay if you accepted it. No matter what stage you're at, just realize that it's okay and it's a part of life. You're not alone in this journey. And as we close, I want to go over a couple verses. So the first thing I want to talk about is Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 10 through 13. And it says, "This is what the Lord says. When 70 years are completed for Babylon, I will come to you and fulfill my good promise to bring you back to this place. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Then you will call on me and come to pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart." So reading that, and I read these things because these are things that help me when I'm going through tough times, when I'm going through letting go and I'm struggling, and I hope it helps you. So by reading that, it tells me that no matter what, God knows the plans he has for us. plans to prosper us. He does not want to harm us, but he wants to give us hope in the future. So that, and then it says, when you call on me, come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. And you will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. Reading that tells me that no matter what I am going through, so say I'm going through a really tough breakup, say I am really struggling to find a job because I had to let go of my other job, say I'm struggling to let go of a perspective of expectations or a person or the past or whatever it is, he knows the plans he has for us. He created us. He's not trying to hurt us. He's not trying to harm us. He wants to give us hope in the future. So even though I'm going through this really tough time, I know that God is with me. I know he still has a plan for my life. So that keeps me going, because it's like, I know that God still has a plan for my life. I know this breakup's hard, but God still has a plan for my life. He wants to give me hope in the future. I know I had to let go of this job, but God has a plan for my life, and then he wants us to pray to us because he listens to us. So you can go to him about it. You can say, God, I'm so upset. God, I'm frustrated. I pray about these things because it is hard. And when it's hard and you don't know what to do, all you can do is pray about it. You can pray to him about anything because he listens to us. It says it in the verse. And it says that if you seek him, you will seek him and find him when you seek him with all your heart. So you have to look for God in it. Maybe God is teaching you a lesson through letting go. Maybe God has something bigger for you when you let go. But you have to pray to him and seek him, and just know that he knows the plans he has for you. So this is not a mistake that this has happened. This does not stop you from your purpose in life, but it probably is a part of the journey to get there. He doesn't want to hurt us. He doesn't want to harm us, but he just wants to give us hope in the future. And the last thing I want to read is 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 5 through 7. In the same way, you who are younger, submit yourself to your elders. All of you, clothe yourselves with humility toward one another, because God opposes the proud, but shows favor to the humble. Humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hand, and he may lift you in due time. Cast all your anxiety on him, because he cares for you. And I'm reading through, I meant to say this at the beginning. I'm reading through the NIV version of the Bible. But when I read that, God wants us to, just like we submit ourselves, just like we respect and we obey and we listen to our elders. We're taught that at a young age, to respect our elders, to listen, to obey to those that are older than us. The same way we have to submit ourselves to others, the same way we have to submit ourselves to God. God wants us to clothe ourselves in humility toward one another. He doesn't want us to be super prideful. He doesn't want us to think we're better than others, because we are all humans and we are all children of God, right? God opposes those that are proud, and he wants us to be humble. He wants us to respect others and ourselves. He doesn't want us to be boastful. And when we do that, when we humble ourselves to God, when we pray to him about the things, when we show humility to one another, towards God, then he will lift us. He will lift that burden. He will lift that heartache. He will lift that burden. But we have to do that. We can't let go and then just never talk to God. We have to let go, and he wants us to pray to him. He wants us to go to him with our anxieties. He says, cast all your anxiety on him, because he cares about us. He loves us. So he wants us to cast it. The anxiety of the unknown, the anxiety of the heartbreak, the anxiety of what's next, the depression, the emotions that are associated with you letting go, the frustration, the anger. He wants us to cast all our cares on him, all the anxiety on him, because he cares for us. But we have to come to him. We have to come to him and be humble and not prideful. We have to give ourselves to him and have humility toward him, because he knows, he has the plans. He knows the plans for us. So I just want to end with those verses, because they help me as I am dealing with letting go, and as I deal with things that I'm struggling with and things that have hurt me, just knowing that God is with me. In closing, I hope that something I said, sticks with you. I hope that you realize that you are not alone in this journey, that we are continuously letting go of things and people and perspectives and expectations. Every day we are letting go of things that no longer serve us. And when we don't want to, I want us to think about carrying all that weight up the stairs, all those groceries. We have to let go so we can get to the top, so that we can get to our purpose, so that we can get to that best version of ourselves. It's not easy. I never want to diminish how we feel, because I feel these things every day, but I want to encourage you that it is possible and that you can let go and things are going to be okay. It might not look like it now, it might not look like it tomorrow, but there's a purpose in this. And when you question the purpose, when you question why things are happening the way they are, remember that, God knows the plans he has for us, plans to prosper us and not to harm us, but plans to give us hope in a future. I want us to focus on the things that are going well right now. Focus on the friends that you have now, the family members that are supporting you. Focus on the present moment. What is going right now? And I know it's frustrating, and I know it's not easy, and I know you just want to give up some days. You want to just give up hope, but just know that you're not alone. I'm with you. I go through it every day, and I'm reminded of all the things I've let go every single day. And it is a daily process of renewing your mind and speaking, life to yourself and hope and encouragement. And it's a daily thing you have to do, because there are so many things that we go through in life. And I just want you to know that you're not alone. God is with you. And if you ever have questions or anything, I do have an Instagram, the Breaking Moment Podcast on Instagram. If you ever want to DM me and want to chat about some things that you're going through, I'm here for you. And I love you all, and I'm proud of you. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. And I will talk to you guys again next week. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Breaking Moment Podcast. If this information was helpful, please share it with others. And if you enjoy listening, subscribe to the podcast so you can get the latest episodes. You can listen to the Breaking Moment Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast. Until then, I will see y'all next week.